And, I'm tired of saying we got to them out. And it's just frustrating. So, we still had opportunities to make plays. I feel like to win these games, especially at the end of the stretch, especially when you up, against a team like this in the cold, you got to run the ball. So, that's man, I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of dealing with it. Like, every day I come here and bust. Uh, I see the guys, bust, and the result is not there. And for me, the last 4 years, the result hasn't been there. And quite frankly, I don't know what else to do. So, yeah.
Contracts, what have you. I think you got to consider all that stuff. And, as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm sure we'll sort through some of those things, but do the right thing for the organization as we go forward.
Raider Nation, what is going on? I'm Hardcore Raider. Thank you guys for tuning in. First of all, just want to say, hope you guys, had a good Christmas. Getting into the new year here, we're going to break down the topic of the hour, which will be, did Derek Carr earn his contract? Okay, so we're going to try to give a fair evaluation of all things, whether someone's pro Carr, against Carr. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it. And let's go, man. Let's get right into this. So I'm going to share a screen here. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to break down Derek Carr's, stats, anywhere from, his overall yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, interceptions, QBR rate, and then overall record. And we're just going to go from when he got his last contract starting in 2017 to current. And I know we're about 2 games shy of the season. So this could be, positive for him, or it could be negative depending on how these last 2 games go if he plays for the Raiders. So again, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, trying to get my sub count up to 1,000 subs. So I'd appreciate it if we get some subscribers in here. And then as well as we're gonna just break all this stuff down. And, even if you're not a Raider fan, please, leave a comment, because, I want to get some other people's feedback that's not a Raider fan. So appreciate you guys. All right, so I'm going to hop in here. I'm going to start sharing my screen. We're going to start with 2017. Okay, guys. So just give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. All right, so we're gonna start with 2017 here, right? We're gonna start first with the overall yards that Derek Carr had. Okay, you guys keep in mind that back then, we had 16 game seasons as opposed to 17 game seasons, so some of that does have an effect, positive or negative. Probably helps some of these guys out, but in 2017 this was a 16 game season. Okay. So as you guys can see, Derek Carr was ranked 14th as far as overall yards at 3,496 yards. Okay. Next up, we'll go into the touchdowns. Derek Carr was 13th at 22 touchdowns. Okay. So he's about middle of the pack as far as that goes. Next up, I want to go to completion percentage. He was ranked 14th, 62.7. And then interceptions, that's the next one I want to touch on. Okay. 10th. So not bad. I mean, not great. He's tied with some other guys, but I'd like to see that interception number drop. Him being top 10 for interceptions it's definitely not great. All right. Interception percentage for 2017. I'm gonna scroll down here. So here he is. We can see him right here at 2.5 for interception percentage. So he's having, in 2017, he had about 2.5 interceptions per game. So, it's good that he's not number one, but I'd say that's not great. It's not terrible either. So, and then let's go into the overall rate here. We'll scroll back down. So as you can see, 86.4, ranked number 19th. Definitely not. That's not good. Okay. Then we're going to go in. We're going to check out the QBR right here. So for QBR, again, not good at all. And that's 50.5. And again, guys, we're trying to give a fair evaluation, right? We're trying to see if we look at a whole like data of work based off of like numbers and all these different stats. Did Derek Carr ever earn his first contract starting in 2017? And then at the end, we'll look at it all, try to do an overview, did some math on it, and we'll just try our best to evaluate it. And you guys give your opinion as well. So, and then his record, get into that, was we were 6-9 that year. So if we go into the record, ooh, that wasn't good at all. All right, so Derek Carr was 33. So even backup quarterbacks were having a better record than that. I know it's a team sport, but still, you got to look at everything. Okay. We're trying our best to give a fair evaluation. All right. So 2017, I don't know, about middle of the pack on a lot of this stuff. Okay. Besides record, that one was definitely not good. And then QBR wasn't good at all. Okay. It was like 21st as far as QBR goes. So let's go into the 2018 record. So for 2018, overall yards was 4,049 yards. At ranked number 12th. I'd say still it's like a little above average as far as that goes. Next up, I want to get into touchdowns. See where he's at on touchdowns. 19 touchdowns. So he's 21st in the NFL for touchdowns. So this is a red flag to me right off the bat, guys, because him lacking in this many touchdowns probably means we're not scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And, anytime you have your kicker being like your leading scorer, if that was one of the years Daniel Carlson had a good year, it's just not a good stat. It means that you're not producing enough touchdowns. And yeah, it's a team sport. You could put on offensive line, wide receivers, stuff like that. But the touchdowns is definitely like a concern for me as far as 2018 goes. So again, we're in the year 2018. Okay. And then let's get into completion percentage. So his completion percentage was actually pretty good. Number 5th in 2018, 68.9. Not bad. Okay. But that probably means he's throwing the ball away. And, there's some things that could buffer that stat somewhat, in my opinion. So, next up, I want to get into, let's see, interceptions. So we're going interceptions, and let's see where he's at for interceptions for 2018. 10 interceptions. He was 21st. So again, about the same as year before. Not terrible, not great. But I'm glad it wasn't worse than that. So let's go to interception percentage, because I like to look at that one too. There he is, number 11. Okay. So about 1.8 interceptions per game. So, that's not bad. I'll say that's, pretty good actually for, interception percentage. And we'll go into the rate over here. So he's down to 18. This isn't good at all. That's below average, to say the least. Okay. QBR terrible. That's absolutely terrible. 46.5. That QBR rating that's not good. That's way below average at 28. That means that out of all, if I scroll down and I go in, I start looking at some of these other quarterbacks, that's a terrible QBR rating. You know what I mean? That was the year Alex Smith played. I mean, Alex Smith was above him, Eli Manning. So the QBR record, that definitely concerns me for the year 2018. It's a red flag in my opinion. Okay. And then let's look at the, win percentage. 42. We were 4-12. We had a terrible year that year. So that wasn't good at all as far as record goes. 42. Oh my God. That's looking at this is pretty mind blowing. So I just don't have any words to say. 4-12 is terrible. Okay. All right. So that sums up 2018. QBR not good, record not good. Okay. And you guys remember Derek Carr got a contract starting in 2017. Okay. All right. Next up, 2019, starting with the overall yards. So right here we got 4,054 yards. He's 8th in the NFL. So I'd say that's pretty good. I'd like to see our quarterback 10 plus, especially if we're paying him the kind of money we're paying him. We're going to get into that at the end, okay? After we look at all the data and try to do a fair analysis, okay? So that year in 2019, pretty good. I like that. Next up, let's get into touchdowns. We're going to have to scroll down here. So not good. Again, not good at all. Touchdowns, number 19th in the NFL with 21 touchdowns. So that's not good. We aren't producing enough touchdowns. And if you look at our red zone stats, it actually proves this. So even though he had a lot of yards, we aren't producing touchdowns. Okay. Next up, let's go to completion percentage. So his completion percentage was pretty amazing, 70.4, second that year. So that was good. So what does that tell us, right? It means he's completing his balls, right? But we're not getting touchdowns. And then he had, overall yards is pretty good. So, the completions percentage was there, but the production as far as, winning, in the red zone was probably lacking that year. That's what I'm going to say as of now. So next up, let's get into interceptions. 18th, 8. That I'd say that's pretty good. That's pretty good that he didn't get a lot of interceptions that year. So I like that number. Let's go to interception percentage per game. 11th, 1.6. A little above average. Next up, let's go into the rate here. 9th. So this is actually pretty good. 100.8. And then let's go into QBR. 10th. So his QBR was good. Okay. Touchdowns was lacking. Let's go back down here. So it's like if he we would have had more wins had we just this touchdown one right here, guys. Which that's not producing wins for us, So again, the QBR was good, touchdowns not good. So we lost a lot of close games, and it's kind of the same story at times with Derek Carr. So then let's get into the record for that year. 7-9, number 27th. So again, terrible record. And I know there's other things. Again, I'm going to keep repeating it. Offensive line, other things that contribute to it being a team sport and us not producing enough wins. But between the record and the red zone, that is really suspect to me. Okay. All right. And then, so let's go to the 2020 season. All right. So make sure 2020. All right. It should be good now. All right. 2020 season, 4,103 yards, 11th overall. So above average. So pretty good right there. I would like to see him break out and just like one of these years be for total yards and touchdowns to be like just like top 8 to 3, not even number 1. But all right. So next up, let's go to the touchdowns. Again, this is the year 2020 NFL season for Derek Carr. Trying to do a fair evaluation. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit that like button. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I'd appreciate if you guys would subscribe. I know some of you guys watching my channel and you ain't subscribed. So hook me up, help me out, and please subscribe. All right, next up, touchdowns for that year, 2020. Derek Carr had 27, so touchdowns went up, 11th overall. So we did a lot better. We scored a lot more touchdowns in the year 2020. So I like that stat. I think that's pretty good, Let's go down to over to touchdown percentage. Ooh, this kind of fell off a little bit, 5.2, number 15th. So we definitely, through touchdown. That was touchdown percentage. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. Let's go to interceptions. So interceptions 9, 20th overall in the NFL. So that's pretty good. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions in 2020. Let's go down over to interception percentage. And Derek Carr is right here at 1.7, 11th overall. So that's pretty good. That's above average. Let's go into the rate. The quarterback rating, 10th overall, 101.4. So his rating was good that year. Pretty good, I'd say. QBR, 11th overall, 64.3. 64.3. So again, not breaking in the threshold I'd like to see in some of these stats. But you know, I'd say it's most of these so far are average or above average. Okay. And then we'll go into the record. And he was 23rd overall, 8-8. So again, really not good as far as record goes. So that bothers me. I don't like that. And obviously, if you're a Raiders fan, when we haven't been to the playoffs and we haven't won a playoff game since the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, it's been rough to say the least. Derek Carr's been good at times and he's been mediocre at times. And I think the stats are proving that. This segment is what I'm calling Raider facts because we're pointing out the facts. We're really digging into this. We're trying to be fair. We're trying to give a fair assessment of this. So next up, we're going to go into 2021. All right. So 2021, Derek Carr had a good year. I believe this was the first year we had like the 17 game season. So that's why some of these stats are going to be buffered. But 4,804 yards. Okay. And yeah, 5th overall. I like it, and we went 10-7 this year. This year went to the playoffs last year. Okay. So right off the bat, hey, huge positive. I like it. Next up, we'll go into touchdowns, 13th. Touchdowns, I'd like to see him up there in the 8-3 range, he's 13th ranked with 23 touchdowns. So I'd like to see that number better, especially for how many yards he threw. So again, that's showing lack of production in the red zone. But I guess it's neither here or there at this time. Completion percentage, 68.4. Okay, 68.4, and he's 5th overall in the NFL. So completion percentage was pretty good, and obviously that's why we were winning games and we had a shot to make the playoffs last year. So I like that stat. Absolutely. Next up, let's go into interceptions. Let's see how the interceptions went for 2021 last year. 14 overall interceptions. So the current year of 2022, he's tied for that, but he was 7th ranked in interceptions. So that's actually not that great. He had a lot of interceptions, but I do try to be fair, especially with, like whether it's Derek Carr or other quarterbacks, that if you're going to throw the ball more, you're going to naturally get more interceptions. I look at it as a cause and effect situation. So, he was up there in yards, his interceptions went up. I'm okay with the interceptions somewhat as long as we're getting wins out of it, right? If the risk versus reward is paying off. So, let's go to interception percentage. So here he is 15th. He's about 2.2 interceptions per game. Not great at all. So those two things, another red flag as far as stats go that, do concern me. We'll go into the rate right here. 14th, 94. So it's those interceptions, guys. I mean, he should be up there in the at minimum 10th, but like 8-3 range, 8-4, for a really good quarterback. All right. QBR again, not good at all, guys. 52.4. 52.4 last year, even though we went to the playoffs. That QBR being 14th overall, it's not good. I don't like it. It really does concern me, to be honest with you guys. And I'm trying to be fair. Okay. All right. And then we'll go to the record. So 18th overall, 10-7. Okay. Better, improving. And we went to the playoffs, obviously. So, and then next up, last one, let's go into this year. Okay. So we're just going to, and again, we got 2 more games this year, to really do a fair evaluation, but, we're going to do it as stands right now for this year. So total yards, he's 11th with 3,522. Okay. So pretty good. Touchdowns, 9th, with 24. So, pretty good. It's, I'd like to see a few more touchdowns in this category. If we had maybe 3 to 5 more touchdowns this category, guys, the Raiders are winning games straight up. you know. And again, I know wide receivers have missed some catches, stuff like that. But you know, he needs to move up in that touchdown rank right there. Completion percentage, excuse me. Completion percentage. Scroll down here. Whoa, my word. That's not good at all. Completion percentage 60.8. So his completion percentage has really dropped off. I mean, you guys look at this, man. I mean, like, I hate to do this or whatever, but I'm just trying to look at everything. But I mean, he's 31st in the NFL right now with completion percentage. Only Russell Wilson and Zach Wilson are worse than him. So you got the Wilson bros, you know, lost on an island, and Derek Carr is right there with him with being one of the worst in the NFL for completion percentage this year. And I think we've seen it in our close games and the games we've lost. So this is not good, guys. You know, and I'm trying my best to be fair. All right. So interceptions. Again, not good. I mean, this is terrible. Derek Carr already has 14 interceptions, and he's leading the NFL in interceptions, you know? So this is, you know, this is terrible, you know? Him leading the NFL in interceptions. Go to interception percentage. Um, go down here. Carr's, you know, right down here at 2.8. Uh, you know, interceptions per game average. So he's 28th in the NFL. So that's not good at all either. Next up, we'll go into the rate, and I'm guessing this is probably gonna be really not good either. Sorry for these pop-ups in here, guys, but yeah, the rate is 86.3. So he's not, you know, he should be like 90, 94 and above, and he's just not. 26th overall, 86.3. Geez, that's terrible. Really not good, guys. Really not good. All right, QBR. QBR 13th, 56.2. So, you know, that's interesting. The QBR moved up, but you know, it's a mixture between, I'd say, interceptions and just his completion percentage is not good. So that there's a lot of red flags in here I don't like. And this is the current year of 2022. Okay. So yeah, it's a lot. This is a lot to digest, guys. It is, you know, and I know it is. You know, I'm gonna, you know, unshare the screen here. I'm gonna go full screen, okay, and kind of talk about this a little bit. So, you know, we're evaluating everything. We're looking at the year 2017 to current, you know, for Derek Carr, and try to give him a fair evaluation, right? The objective, my goal of this show is I want to see, what do you guys think, right? Do you guys think that Derek Carr earned his contract? Now, remember, when 2016 happened, Derek Carr was like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, really had a chance to, you know, make a run for MVP, probably take the Raiders far in the playoffs. Was great. And then he got hurt against the Colts, as all Raider fans know. But, you know, after that point, he fell off. And Derek Carr almost essentially held out for that contract. Derek Carr got a new contract right after he got hurt in 2016. So going into 2017, he had got a new contract. Okay. All right. So next up, I'm going to pull up some backdrops here, and we're going to get into actual contracts for highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL starting in 2017. All right. So I'm going to take my face out of here so you guys can see this. And I want you guys to look at this. And again, we're trying to be fair, right? So we're not trying to be a Carr hater or anything like that. We're just trying to give our own like fair assessment, to look at the whole picture and see where everything's at. Okay. So starting in 2017, you know, Derek Carr is like 15 million. And then the way they break this down is kind of weird, but it was actually, I believe it was like 25 million. So the point I want to make here is just see where he's at when we break down this, you know, these contracts. So we got Joe Flacco, number 1. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is saying Derek Carr was 16th paid quarterback, but that's actually inaccurate. Because let me pull my logo off here so you guys can see the whole thing. All right, sorry. Because if you add the guaranteed money plus the bonus, Derek Carr that year, starting in 2017, he was actually the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. if you guys remember when Derek Carr got paid in 2017, he was the highest paid quarterback for like a week or something until Matthew Stafford got bumped up. But you look at some of these other quarterbacks that were up there. Derek Carr made a good paycheck starting in 2017, 25 million. So he got paid according to how he produced in 2016, but we don't exactly know if that paycheck, like if it was like if he got paid too early, like we don't know that he got this huge contract and if he was really the guy to pay that kind of money to. I mean, you got to think. We just went through all the stats, guys. I'm gonna go full screen here again in a second. But, we paid him this big contract to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, right? One of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Like it was him and Matthew Stafford were top two. But if we go back and we look at that year, I mean, his stats were mediocre. They were maybe average or above average. But yet we're paying a guy top quarterback money. These are red flags to me, guys. And I've said this for a while. This is one of the reasons why I've harped on this a lot. But I'm at the same time, I am trying to be fair. Okay. So next up, let's go into 2018. Okay. Again, I'm going to take myself off screen so you guys can see this. And we'll look at 2018. Okay. Because to me, the proof is in the pudding, right? Is Hardcore Raider full of it or what? All right, so here we go. Derek Carr, third in the NFL. It was like cash spent 22.5. So like, Derek Carr was the third highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Only Jimmy Garoppolo and Matthew Stafford was higher than him. But look who's below Derek Carr. Joe Flacco. I mean, Flacco was actually pretty good back then. I'm trying to remember the year he faded off, but Flacco, Andrew Luck, Kirk Cousins, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. And I hate to say it, guys, but all these quarterbacks below in this picture, below Derek Carr, are better than Derek Carr. And they were better than Derek Carr. I would maybe throw in a question mark with Jimmy G, but he did lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl and the playoffs and won playoff games. Matt Stafford, maybe comparable to Derek Carr. Andrew Luck, better than Derek Carr. Joe Flacco back then was probably, I'd say probably better than Derek Carr. Drew Brees, better than Derek Carr. Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger. Eli Manning might be a toss-up. But Tom Brady was balling out then, and so was Phillip Rivers. So, looking at this, what I'm going to say most of these quarterbacks were better than Derek Carr, and the stats prove it. You know what I mean? So, these are red flags to me. All right. Again, trying to be fair. So that was 2018. Let's go into 2019. Okay. Again, this is all relatable to the contract, the stats, and doing an overall evaluation to see what we're looking at here. Okay. I'm trying to take the emotions away. We're all Raider fans, right? Most of us bleed silver and black. But we're trying to do a fair assessment to see what in the world if Derek Carr ever earned his contract. Okay. All right. So next up, 2019. 2019, Derek Carr fell back as far as overall quarterbacks paid. So here he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. Derek Carr fell down to 10th, okay, as far as highest paid quarterbacks. So Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Cam Newton, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, and then Derek Carr. And I'd say almost all those quarterbacks should be paid higher than Derek Carr. I know a lot of guys do the like, well, it's a percentage of what someone else made or whatever. No, dude. I mean, people look at it that way through that filtered lens. I'm going to call it a cloudy filtered lens. We're getting into the Raider facts, guys. We're getting into the Raider facts to see what is going on. What really happened with giving Derek Carr a contract, okay? And to me, none of this is adding up at all. I'm sorry, but it's just not. And I'm doing my best to be fair. I'm going to keep repeating it. So 2019, we'll go over all the stats because I got them all tallied up each year. We'll revisit it all and compare it with his paycheck and see if he ever earned his paycheck. Okay. Did Derek Carr ever earn his contract? All right. Next up, we're going to jump into the 2020 as far as what quarterbacks are paid. Okay. So here's 2020. Take myself off screen so you guys can see it. All right. So Derek Carr, here we got 11th. He's the 11th highest paid quarterback in 2020. Okay. So you got Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, Jimmy G, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Ryan Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers, and then, Derek Carr. And like, how many of these quarterbacks? Here's the other question that we need to ask ourselves, right? How many of these quarterbacks actually took their teams to the playoffs? I didn't break that down, but looking at this list, I'm pretty sure most of these teams either were in a running for the playoffs or went to the playoffs. Okay. So they should all be paid higher than Derek Carr. Here we go. Derek Carr making, 19, 20 million a year. He's making a lot of money. So, he's like in this 10th, 11th range right now, as far as highest paid quarterback. To be fair, because, his production, if you look at it, is essentially, in that middle tier range with most of these stats. So if we, when we dive into this and we look at it, yeah, maybe I guess if his stats are 10th to like 15th, then maybe his pay should be 10th to 15th. That's what I'm thinking. So getting into 2020, maybe it's a little more even, like fair, even kill. Um, you know, let's get into 2021. Okay. And then again, I'm going to take myself off screen, get into it, and let's see where we're at. So 2021, Derek Carr 7th overall as far as highest paid, quarterbacks. 22 million cap number, cash spent, cap number 22 million, and the cash spent 19.6. So, he's making, pretty damn good money, pretty damn good money for a quarterback. So, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say Derek Carr, like for this year, he should be like, in that 8 to 4 range for stats, you guys. Um, when I look at this whole thing, guys, here's my evaluation of it so far. When I look at a whole body of work, the stats, the wins, and the contract, they're not adding up. There's a huge anomaly here, guys. There's a huge anomaly here. And it shouldn't be that way, right? It should not be that way. All right. Let's get into the last year. Actually, no, we're gonna go forward after this, but we'll get into the current year of 2022. Okay. All right. So here we are. Derek Carr is like 9th highest paid quarterback. Cap number 19.3 million. Cash spent 25 million. All right. So that guaranteed money. So, he's right up there with 9th. I believe it's 9th overall as far as what quarterbacks are making in the NFL. I mean, he's making damn good money, you guys. Damn good money this year compared to the other quarterbacks. I mean, he ain't no Patrick Mahomes. We already know that, right? He ain't no Aaron Rodgers. He ain't no Lamar Jackson. Him and Dak Prescott, you could argue, are pretty comparable. But, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. All right. So, I mean, we're paying him top 9 money, and this year he has like the most interceptions, just terrible stats, you guys. And I'm gonna get to my main point coming up here, but all right, here's this would be 2023. Okay. I'm gonna take myself off. So this is jumping into next year, what Derek Carr would make, right? If we keep Derek Carr, what he would make starting in 2023. So if you look at it, guys, I mean, you got all these quarterbacks, up here, and Derek Carr would be the 9th highest paid quarterback. So next year it's like around 35 million. Next year I believe the contract for the next 3 years, 110 million. It breaks down, I think 36.6 million per year. But looking at it, he's 9th highest paid quarterback in the NFL at 35 million if we keep Derek Carr and we keep this contract. Okay. Then we'll go into 2024. Okay. So next up, we're going to jump into 2024, guys, because we're going to go for the next 3 years if we keep Derek Carr and what his contract will be. So I'm going to take myself off, and some quarterbacks are going to get paid. It's going to change this, right? But just looking at it as of now. Okay. All right. So here we got 2024. Right? Derek Carr jumps huge because that first year it was almost like a pay cut or something where it's like the front end of the contract's a little bit light and then the back end's heavier. So cap number 43.8, cash spent at least 42 million. So Derek Carr would be making 42 to almost 44 million starting in 2024. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, guys. He would be sixth highest paid quarterback as of now. So, when we're paying, the thing is, guys, when we're paying a quarterback this kind of money, that means you can't get the rest of the talent you need to be successful. That's what that means. People think that, oh, all this doesn't matter. It does matter. And I'm proving it, but I'm showing you the Raider facts, not our emotions, one side or the other, the Raider facts. Okay. All right. Last up would be 2025. Let's see what he would make in 2025. All right, so here he is again. Be like eighth, it looks like, or something in the NFL. 43 million cap number, 41.3 cash spent. So, we're going to be paying Derek Carr a lot of money starting in 2024 and 2025. And if we keep Derek Carr, right? If we're like, well, let's keep him for 1 year, have him as a bridge quarterback, or and we'll draft a quarterback or whatever it might be. I mean, we're going to be at a point where it's like, guys, like, we're not going to be able to get the rest of the talent on the team we need, and we're going to be stuck in a contract with Derek Carr. I know there's some that are saying like we can cut bait with him with like not a super huge cap hit to us or whatever, but I'm telling you, like, this kind of contract with these numbers, like, he's got to be 8 to like 4 in these overall stats. That's what his paycheck is. That's what it was starting back in 2017, and that's what it should be now. And that's fair. That's fair. If we're going to pay him top quarterback money, he's got to do better than that middle range for stats, touchdowns, interceptions, all that stuff. Excuse me. QBR, all that stuff has to improve. It has to be better than where it's at right now for us to pay him that kind of money. There's too many red flags. Looking at the history, trying to do a whole day to work, I'm seeing a lot of red flags. Okay. And I'm not done. Guys. And I'm being fair. Okay. All right. So let's get in. We're going to look at the overall for Derek Carr, his stats since like his existence in the NFL. And I'm going to tally up what his stats were from 2017 until current. So I'm going to take myself off the screen here. Okay. So if you guys look, 2017, these numbers aren't exactly on the screen because I had to do averages, but we're going to go over all this right now and I'll explain it to you. So you guys listen up, and let's see kind of what you guys think, right? Actually, I'm gonna bring myself back on screen and then I'll take myself off here in a minute. All right. So we'll go through each year, right? So we're going to do this a little differently now. So we went through each year individually. Now we're going to go through yards total overall, touchdowns overall, completion percentage, and we're just going to try to do like a conclusion, an assessment of everything, and do our best to see kind of how everything lands, All right. So 2017 overall yards, 14th, 3,496 yards. 2018, he was 12th overall, 4,049 yards. 2019, 8th overall, 4,054 yards. 2020, 11th overall, 4,103 yards. 2021, 5th overall, 4,804 yards. 2022, 11th overall, as of now, 3,522 yards. Okay. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. If you guys don't know, I'm one of the only Raider YouTubers, if not the only one actually giving back. We've been giving away gift cards, gave away a jersey. We're going to keep, as long as I'm in a position to give back, I'm going to give back to Raider Nation. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because you don't know when I might be dropping something. We did a Raiders trivia, and I gave out like a $70 gift card for GameStop. So, and I've given out some other gift cards too to some guys. So, all right. Next up, 2017. He had, we're going to do touchdowns. So this is touchdowns, right? 2017 touchdowns, 13th overall in the NFL, 22 touchdowns. 2018, 21st in the NFL, 19 touchdowns. 2019, 19th overall in the NFL, 21 touchdowns. 2020, 11th overall, 27 touchdowns. 2021, 13th overall, 23 touchdowns. 2022, 9th overall, 24 touchdowns. So looking at this, we're like in the mid-teens to sometimes later as far as touchdowns go. And this tells me that it tells me that we're mediocre for touchdowns, and it's not good. It's not good enough, right? All right. So, and remember, we paid him top quarterback money, and we're about ready to pay him really high money again. So it's important, guys. Everything has a cause and effect, because if we pay him this kind of money, that means we can't get the defensive guys we need, offensive linemen, stuff like that. So it does matter. People are like, well, it's not my money. No, it does matter. I'm a Raider fan, and I'm always going to look at this and see if it's a good decision for this franchise moving forward, one direction or the other. Because I'm a Raider fan. It's all about the shield right here, not one person. Okay. Too many people take this stuff personally. And anyway, so, all right, completion percentage, 2017 completion percentage, 14th overall, 62.7. 2018 completion percentage, 5th overall in the NFL, 68.9. So, that was a pretty good completion percentage in 2018. 2019, 70.4, second overall in the NFL. 2020, 10th overall, 67.3. 2021, 5th overall, 68.4. And 2022, he's 31st overall, 60.8. So, completion percentage, actually wasn't too bad when I look at it as a body of work besides this year. Okay. This year, not good at all. Interceptions, 2017, 10th overall, 13 interceptions. 2018, 21st overall, 10 interceptions. 2019, 18th overall, 8 interceptions. 2020, 19th overall, 9 interceptions. 2021, 7th overall, 14 interceptions. And 2022, first overall, with 14 touchdowns. So, all right, next up would be interception percentage. 2017, 22nd, 2.5. 2018, 11th, 1.8. 2019, 11th, 1.7. 2020, 11th, 1.7. 2021, 15th, 2.2. And 2022, 6th, 2.8 per game. So, that wasn't, most of those besides this year weren't bad. Then the rate, we got, I'm just gonna do QBR rate, or I'll do the rate, I guess, for quarterback rate. 2017, 19th overall, 86.4. 2018, 18th overall, 93.9. 2019, 9th, 100.8. 2020, 10th, 101.4. That was a really good year for his QBR rate. 2021, 14th overall, 94. 2022, 25th overall at 86.3. So 2017, not good. 2022, not good. And that seems to be kind of the going on this. We're just like 2017 and, the latest year, not good. But, all right, QBR. 2017 QBR, he was 21st in the NFL at 50.5. 2018, 28th overall, 46.5. That was terrible. Both those years are terrible for QBR. 2019, 10th overall, 64.1. 2020, 11th overall, 64.3. 2021, 14th overall, 52.3. And 2022, 13th overall, 56.2. And then record, we had 6-9, 2017, 4-12, 2018, 7-9, 2020, 20. No, that was 2019, 7-9. 2020, 8-8, and then 10-7, 2021, and then currently the Raiders are 6-9. All right, so I averaged all this stuff up, guys. I averaged it all up, and here's how everything works out. All right. If we do the percentages and we do the math, right, it works out where from 2017 until the current 2022, Derek Carr for overall yards is about ninth. Ninth, it's like 9.3 or something, but ninth with 4,004 yards. Okay. For touchdowns, Derek Carr since 2017 until 2022, average is 14th overall at 22.6 touchdowns. So overall touchdowns since 2017, not good. Not good for what we're paying him. 14th, he should be, like I said, at minimum like 8th to 4th. Okay. So that's not good. That total touchdown is not good at all. Completion percentage, he's 11th at 66.4. I'd like to see that 11th be closer in that 8 range, 8 to 5, like at least for completion percentage. So again, not good for the full body of work. Interceptions, he'd be ranked at 13th with 13 interceptions per game averaging. Interception percentage, he'd be averaging 13th at 2.2 per game. So again, the interceptions puts him in that mid tier, but yet we're paying him like top quarterback money. So the contract doesn't match the stats so far. The quarterback rate, 16th overall at 93.8. So again, in that middle level. QBR, 15th overall at 55.7. And that's that, and the last one is what sticks out to me. And if you like average our record, Derek Carr would be 7-9, right? So QBR 55.7, and overall record since 2017 averages out to 7-9. So those aren't good, guys. That's not good. That's mediocre. That's maybe above average a little bit, all right, in that middle tier mark, right? But like I said, we're not paying him middle tier money. We're paying Derek Carr top quarterback money. And I know there's a lot of Raider fans out there that are like, well, who else are we going to get? You know, like there's nobody else. It's like, dude, if you had like a broken car and you needed transportation to work and it keeps breaking down on you and making you late or something, are you going to keep paying for that car? I mean, you're going to figure out something else. Whether you have to get a used car that's not as good, but maybe more reliable, or take a chance, or go out and get another car that might be a little bit better. So, you know, we have to remember too, again, just to kind of put everything in context. Derek Carr essentially held out in 2017, right? And Reggie McKenzie from the Raiders paid Derek Carr. He was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And that next year, in 2017, Derek Carr sucked. Derek Carr got a new contract, was the highest paid quarterback, or second highest paid quarterback, top 3 at least, and he didn't produce. He never earned that paycheck starting in 2017. He sucked. You know, the Raiders, we went 6-9 in 2017. That was not good. And the stats, as I broke it down, it proves it, right? Even the next year, 2018, he didn't really do good. We went 4-12, you know, but still, the stats show like, hey, there's some red flags here. Some people saying like, well, you know, Derek Carr just had an anomaly year. It's not exactly accurate. He's in the middle tier pack for stats, yards, touchdowns, you know, QBR, all that stuff, dude. Like, he's not worth a top paid quarterback money. And the thing is, if we pay Derek Carr this much money, you know, Derek Carr just got a contract extension this last year. He balled out. We went 10-7, went to the playoffs, just like 2016. And then 2022, Derek Carr has sucked. Derek Carr has sucked since he got his new contract, which I know doesn't technically start until next year. But I'm telling you, he got a new contract in 2017, sucked. He just got a new contract now, and he sucked. There's red flags, and I'm trying my best to be fair. I started the season being like, hey, I'm ready to move on from Derek Carr. I backpedaled a little bit to some degree, but like I'm always going to support people in silver and black. But like, you know, I'm like, hey, let's give Derek Carr a shot, right? Everybody was like, Derek Carr needs a number 1 wide receiver. Derek Carr needs a number 1 wide receiver. I'm like, okay, let's see if this works. I'll lay off him a little bit and let's see if this works. And, you know, he started the beginning of the season out weak. Middle season was doing pretty good. And then, you know, towards the end of the season, he's fallen off again. And that's just too inconsistent to be paying a guy this kind of money. The thing is, we're going to pay this guy 35+ mil a year, which has been my narrative the entire season. And I already knew all this stuff that, like, if we are going to pay somebody that kind of money, they got to be producing a whole lot more. they can't be mediocre or barely above average. You got to think if we paid him like 20, 25 mil, hey, that's a contract for Josh Jacobs. I mean, we're a strong, heavy run team. Josh Jacobs has willed us to wins. We wouldn't have hardly nearly as many wins as we do without Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs is worth the contract, guys. He is. Whether it's 10 mil or 15 mil, I don't care. There is no running back guy by committee when it comes to somebody like Josh Jacobs. And when you have your quarterback making that kind of money, not only are you not going to be able to pay Josh Jacobs, but guess what? You're not going to be able to pay the other guys you need, like your defensive line. You need some defensive line guys. You need some offensive line guys. You need cornerbacks. You need a linebacker, a middle linebacker. We need talent and depth on this team, and we just don't have it. We don't have it. But yet we're going to overpay a quarterback too much money to where that's going to inhibit us from, being able to get the talent we need now to get some wins. Now, I will say, if Derek Carr had a lesser contract, like 20, 25 mil, I think, yeah, we could win more games because we have the money to go out and we get, the talent we need. But so many people in Raider Nation, we've all had excuses for Derek Carr, and they are excuses. They're nothing but excuses, guys, at this point. And we've all been there, like saying, like, oh, well, if he had offensive line, if he had a wide receiver, if he had this, if he had that, nothing's ever going to be perfect in the NFL. It's just not. That's not the reality. That's la la land. You're living a pipe dream, dude. And if Derek Carr is average, he needs to get paid average, right? If he's below average or somewhere in that range, he needs to get paid accordingly. Okay. Not overpay him and think that it's all going to work out. We just did that through his first contract. And in my opinion, my consensus of looking at all the data, he never earned that contract. He never earned the first contract that we gave him. He didn't produce enough. We were paying him top quarterback money, and he was mediocre or average, at times below average. And that's red flags to me, guys. It is. Him getting a contract this last year, just like I explained. In 2016, going into 2017, he got a contract, and he didn't produce. We're about ready to give him, there's an out for the Raiders to get out of this contract and to where we go into the next season where we can get out of it and move on. And, in another video, I'll break down potential options if we move on from Derek Carr. But this video is solely, did Derek Carr earn his paycheck? Did he earn the contract that we gave him? In my opinion, the answer is no. Now, if Derek Carr would have taken a huge pay cut, like 20, 25 million, which I said for years, I've literally said this for years now, then that would help us acquire the talent we need, right? And there you go. We can win with Derek Carr, but we need a lot more talent. Sorry, guys. Need some water here. So I'm just saying, like, the proof is in the evidence and the Raider facts. And we proved it. We absolutely proved it. That what he has produced versus what he got paid, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't a fair deal to the Raiders. It was fair to Derek Carr and his family, but we never got what we should get from Derek Carr. Never. So what do you guys think? Give me a second. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Derek Carr earned his paycheck? And don't give me that like it ain't part of our business. It is. Because we pay Derek Carr, we keep this contract, we're not going to get the talent we need. Derek Carr had the option, guys. He did. He could have really been friendly. His first contract when we got, when Khalil Mack was on the chop block or whatever you want to call it to get a contract, Derek Carr said it was a team-friendly deal. It wasn't. He was the highest paid quarterback at the time, then second highest. And he tried to act like it was a team-friendly deal. It wasn't. It was only friendly to Derek Carr. It was only friendly to Derek Carr. And people like, oh, it's quarterback percentages and all that. No, dude, I ain't playing that game. I'm not playing that game. I don't care what another quarterback made or didn't make. I'm looking at what's best for this organization, taking my fan hat off, putting my general manager hat on, and I'm going to look at everything as a total. Starting in week 3, I started looking at this roster. I started looking at the contracts coming due, which I knew was a lot. And I knew there was red flags coming up. I knew if we keep Derek Carr, we're not going to have the money to get the rest of the talent that the Raiders need. And it's showing in our win-losses. Now if Derek Carr would have taken a pay cut and a true friendly deal, not this, 35 plus mil a year, contract, then, if he would have taken a pay cut, a real like team friendly deal, then yeah, I'd say like we keep him and, that's going to help us elevate our team to get some of the talent we need to produce to be a much better team moving forward. Other quarterbacks, as much as we may not like them, Tom Brady and other quarterbacks have restructured their contracts and taken pay cuts. The Raiders need to really take this stuff seriously, right? And they need to evaluate it. And, I know the problem isn't just Derek Carr. I do. Trust me. This isn't just a hate on Derek Carr. I know there's other holes in the team and whatnot. But besides the other holes and the deficiencies, it's not going to solve the problem that we need more money to pay guys to elevate this team. We need more talent on the team. And, I'm going to look at the guy that's supposed to lead this franchise to greatness. And I'm going to look at the guy making the most money and see if he is earning his paycheck. And if he's not, then I got to say hasta la vista. And so should the Raiders. And it sucks. It sucks to get to this point. But that's just the reality of it, man, is he got contracts, right? Extensions, and he did not produce. Those are the facts, guys. Those are the facts. And you can find excuses with wide receiver this and all this other stuff. At this point, none of that even matters, dude. That's just water under the bridge. At some point, you got to be real. You got to be honest. You got to look at all the facts, as I just proved and pointed out, and it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. So with that being said, I'm going to roll on out of here. Please subscribe and leave a comment, whether you're a Raider fan or not. I want to know what you guys think. Did Derek Carr earn his contract? It's a very important topic, because this, whether we keep Carr or we move on from him, is going to change our franchise forever, whether it's the best move or if it ends up being not a good move. But you know what? Hindsight's always 2020. So a lot of that we won't even know until, it's all water under the bridge. So appreciate you guys. Much love. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And as always, there's only one nation. That's Raider Nation. Let's go. Hardcore Raider out.
And I'm tired of saying we got to them out. And it's just frustrating. So we still had opportunities to make plays. I feel like to win these games, especially at the end of the stretch, especially when you up, against a team like this in the cold, you got to run the ball. So that's man, I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of dealing with it. Like every day I come here and bust. I see the guys, bust, and the result is not there. And for me, the last 4 years, the result hasn't been there. And quite frankly, I don't know what else to do. Yeah.
Contracts, what have you. I think you got to consider all that stuff. And, as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm sure we'll sort through some of those things, but do the right thing for the organization as we go forward.